Let's start here, where most people quit. Not in the bright lights, not on stage, but in silence, in the shadows. In the part of the journey where it's just you, your thoughts, and your choice to keep going or give up. The world teaches us to perform when people are watching, to give our best when we know someone's keeping score. But what happens when there's no scoreboard? When no one's applauding? When it's just you in a cold room with a dream that no one else believes in? That's where the real ones are made. Because champions don't train for the crowd. They train when the gym is empty. They write when no one reads. They push when the world is asleep. They understand something powerful. What you do in private defines who you are in public. I've learned that real accountability isn't about others watching. It's about that inner voice, the one you can't lie to, the one that knows when you took shortcuts. That voice becomes your mirror. And trust me, the harshest judgment doesn't come from critics. It comes from you. When you know you didn't give your all, no praise can drown out that guilt. Most people don't fail because they weren't talented. They fail because they were waiting for validation. They wanted someone to say, "I see you." But if you always need a witness to do the work, you'll never cross the line. Because the most important races in life are run alone. You've got to learn to show up for yourself even when there's no audience. Because here's the truth. Consistency in the dark is the price you pay for recognition in the light. And it's not a one-time payment. It's every single day. It's doing the hard thing again and again until your muscles forget how to quit. When no one is watching, most people relax. But the few, they turn up the heat because they know that pressure is a privilege and repetition builds reputation. You don't get exceptional by acting occasionally. You get there by becoming obsessed. And don't let the world confuse you. Working hard doesn't mean burning out. It means caring deeply. It means knowing that this moment, this quiet, unnoticed grind, is a piece of your story, a chapter that will one day inspire someone else to rise. So ask yourself today, not what others expect of you, but what do you expect from you? And if no one clapped for you today, would you still show up and give everything? Because that is where the greatness begins. Belief is a beautiful thing until it becomes heavy. In the beginning, belief gives you wings. It makes you dream. It lifts you out of mediocrity and dares you to imagine something better. But once you've said the dream out loud, once you've declared it to the world, belief becomes a burden you must carry every single day. You no longer get to wake up without pressure. Now you wake up with responsibility. Responsibility to your dream. Responsibility to your word. And that can feel overwhelming, especially when the results don't come as fast as the belief demands. You'll start to question yourself. Was I wrong to believe? What if I never make it? You'll look around and wonder why everyone else seems to be advancing while you're stuck in place. The burden of belief begins to feel like a lie you told yourself. But let me tell you this, belief is not a guarantee. Belief is a promise to try, no matter what. You see, the mistake most people make is expecting belief to be enough. They think belief will do the work, that if they want it bad enough, the universe will reward them quickly. But belief is not a shortcut. It's a compass. And sometimes the journey is longer than you thought. Some days belief feels like carrying a mountain on your back. It's heavy. It hurts. But every step you take proves you're stronger than you were yesterday. That burden? It's building you. It's sharpening your character. It's forcing you to grow into the person who can carry it all the way. People will doubt you. They'll laugh. They'll remind you of every failed attempt. But they don't understand the weight of your belief. They don't hear the quiet voice in your chest saying, "Keep going." They weren't there in the late nights. They didn't feel the pain you fought through. Only you know how much this means. Only you know why you started. And only you can decide not to drop that weight. So if the belief feels heavier today, good. That means you're still carrying it. That means you haven't let go. Hold the line, carry it anyway. Because those who win are not the ones with the lightest load. They're the ones who refuse to set it down. We live in a world addicted to speed. Everything has to happen now. Success has to be instant. Fame has to be sudden. And if it's not fast, it's not real. But that mindset is dangerous because it creates false timelines and unrealistic expectations. It convinces people that if they don't see results immediately, they're failing. Let me tell you the truth, success is never overnight, ever. You see the finished product, the trophy, the applause, the deal, the moment of glory, but you never see the hundreds of nights of doubt, the thousands of hours of repetition, the sacrifices no one documented, the pain that never made it to social media. Overnight success? That's a myth sold by those who never made it. Behind every sudden win is a decade of grind, 100 rejections, 1,000 steps where the only reward was the knowledge that you didn't quit. Here's what people won't tell you. If you start now and it takes you 10 years, that doesn't mean you were slow. It means you were determined. It means you were patient. It means you outlasted the lies. The real greats, the legends, weren't built in moments. They were built in seasons. Seasons of drought, seasons of hunger, seasons where they questioned everything but kept going anyway. If you're in your 4th year and you're not there yet, don't stop. If you've tried 3 times and failed each time, get back up. Because every person who ever made it had years where it looked like nothing was working, and then one day it did. Because the beautiful thing about long-term effort is that it compounds. It builds. It stacks up behind the scenes until one day the dam breaks and everything changes all at once. So no, you're not behind, you're not slow, you are not broken, you are building. And your story is just getting started. There's something most people never tell you when they talk about winning. They'll talk about the trophy, the salary, the status, the car, the lifestyle. But they forget to mention the part where you learn to love the work itself. That's the real secret. Falling in love with the process, not the prize, not the outcome, but the grind, the repetition, the quiet steps that don't get seen or celebrated. At first, it might feel like a sacrifice. You wake up earlier than others. You say no to parties. You spend weekends working while your friends unwind. And it feels like you're giving up life. But what you're actually doing is choosing a different kind of life, a life on your terms. Eventually, it starts to change. One day, the 5 a.m. wake-up doesn't hurt so much. One day, the rejection doesn't sting the way it used to. One day, you stop checking how far you've come because you're too busy moving forward. That's when you've fallen in love with the process, when the work becomes the reward. Most people won't make it that far. They give up because they were only chasing the outcome. And when the outcome doesn't show up fast enough, they leave. They blame the system. They say it wasn't meant to be. But you're different. You're here to build something real. And real things take time. If you want to go all the way, you need to rewire how you think. You need to stop asking, how long will it take? And start asking, how far can I go? Shift your mindset from chasing to creating, from waiting to working, from hoping to becoming. Every rep, every draft, every attempt, it's part of your training. Every failure is a rep. Every tough day is a rep. And the more reps you stack, the more unshakable you become. The irony is, when you stop obsessing over the results and start showing up for the process, the results start coming. Because you're not distracted, you're not emotional, you're just consistent. Winners don't need to be motivated every day. They've built habits that carry them when emotion runs out. And habits are born from repeated process. So if you're frustrated right now, good. You're in the thick of it. If it's boring, great. That's the work working on you. This is the season where champions are sculpted, not in front of cameras, but in the quiet, mundane, disciplined process of doing the work. You won't always love the process, but if you respect it, it will change your life. Fall in love with the process, and you'll fall into greatness. Pain is not a punishment. It's not a curse. It's not life's way of holding you back. Pain is the proof that you're doing something that matters. Think about it. Anything worth having comes with a cost. The cost isn't always money. Most of the time, the real price is discomfort, frustration, sacrifice, loss, the ache in your chest when you try and it still doesn't work, the burn in your muscles when you have pushed beyond what you thought was possible. You don't feel pain when you're doing nothing. You don't feel resistance when you're staying still. So if you're hurting, it means you're moving. It means you're in the fight. It means you're stretching beyond your comfort zone into the place where real growth lives. Let's be real. There will be days when it feels like the world is closing in on you. When every door you knock on slams shut. When every yes you hope for becomes a no. And your mind will whisper, maybe this isn't for you. That's the moment you have to decide who you are. Are you someone who needs life to be easy to keep going? Or are you someone who fights anyway? The difference between the ones who make it and the ones who give up isn't talent. It's not even opportunity. It's endurance. It's the willingness to walk through fire without flinching. To stand tall in the storm and say, this won't break me. Pain teaches you what comfort never could. It teaches you to appreciate peace. It teaches you humility. It teaches you what you're made of. And more than anything, it reveals what matters most. Because in pain, everything else fades. The opinions, the applause, the distractions, they all disappear. And what's left is your truth. What do you really want? What are you really willing to suffer for? If the answer is everything, then you're already on your way. Because the people who change the world, the ones who defy the odds, they're not immune to pain. They just refuse to let it stop them. Pain is not a wall, it's a signal. It says, keep going, you're getting close. And when it hurts the most, that's when you dig in. That's when you remind yourself that you didn't come this far to quit now. You didn't build all of this just to turn back. You were made for more, so embrace the pain. Welcome it. Because if it's there, that means the breakthrough is near. And when you finally get there, when the victory is yours, it won't be the comfort you remember. It'll be the pain you overcame. Let's talk about something most people don't prepare for. The silence. The stretch of time when your phone doesn't ring, your inbox stays empty, and the people you thought would cheer for you disappear into the background. This is the loneliest chapter, and if you've never walked through it, you will. It's the part of the journey where self-doubt comes to visit, where you look around and realize you don't quite fit with the friends you used to have, but you haven't yet met the people you're growing toward. You're in between, and it feels like nobody understands. This is where most people stop, not because they're weak, but because they mistake loneliness for a warning sign. They think, if I'm this alone, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But here's the truth. The lonelier it gets, the more you're growing. Growth demands space. And sometimes that space feels like isolation. You'll notice people start acting differently. Some will distance themselves because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Some will try to keep you boxed into who you used to be. They'll joke, they'll minimize, they'll say things like, don't forget where you came from, or you've changed. But isn't that the point? You didn't come this far to stay the same. And yes, it hurts. It hurts when those who once believed in you begin to question you, when their encouragement turns into sarcasm, when the only claps you hear are the ones you give yourself. But that's what makes this chapter powerful. This is the part where you either cling to who you were to stay comfortable or step fully into who you're becoming. And it's not easy. It's awkward. It's quiet. It's filled with doubt and second guessing. But every single person who has ever broken through a ceiling has walked this same hallway. The lonely chapter is not a detour. It's not a delay. It's the hallway between who you were and who you're meant to be. And if you can keep walking, if you can keep showing up, even when it feels like no one is watching, no one is listening, and no one is clapping, then you're exactly where you need to be. Use the silence. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it clarify your vision. Let it teach you to depend on your own inner fire. Because when the applause finally comes, and it will, you'll know you earned it. Not because you were surrounded by fans, but because you were faithful when you stood alone. So if you're in that space right now, don't retreat. Don't shrink, stand tall. The lonely chapter doesn't last forever, but the strength it builds, that stays with you for life. There's a popular idea that to succeed, you must feel inspired. That motivation will strike, and suddenly you'll be on fire. But those who've really made it, those who've built something lasting, they'll tell you the truth. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is everything. Motivation is like the wind. It comes and goes. Some days you'll feel fired up. You'll wake up ready to conquer the world. But other days, you'll feel nothing. The fire is gone. The energy isn't there. And those are the days that define you. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated, but the great ones, they show up even when they feel empty. Even when their body aches and their mind is screaming to rest. They do the work. Not because they feel like it, but because they said they would. Discipline is built in small moments. It's not some grand performance. It's brushing your teeth every morning. It's sticking to your plan. It's honoring your word to yourself. And the more you do it, the stronger it becomes. If you rely on feelings to drive action, you'll always fall short. But if you commit to action, regardless of how you feel, the feelings eventually follow. That's the secret no one tells you. That motivation comes after momentum. That energy shows up after effort. That confidence is built by doing the thing even when you didn't want to. So build routines, not dreams. Build habits, not hope. Set a standard for yourself so high that it doesn't depend on your emotions. Because when the world sees your consistency, when they witness the results of your daily discipline, they'll call you motivated. They'll say you're lucky. They'll never understand that it was built in the dark, brick by brick, with no cheering crowd. The ones who win are the ones who show up every day and do what's necessary, whether they feel like it or not. Be that one. Now we've come to the final chapter. And maybe you've seen yourself in these pages, in the silence, the struggle, the long nights and the lonely days. Maybe you've felt the sting of failure or the ache of trying and still coming up short. But I want you to understand this. No one can finish this for you, no. The final step is yours. The choice to rise again. The decision to show up one more time. The courage to believe when belief feels ridiculous. That's what separates those who wish from those who win. Every story you admire, every person you look up to, they all had a moment where they were done, where they almost walked away, but they didn't. And that made all the difference. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't even need to be the fastest. You just need to be the one who keeps going. Because your dream, it's waiting on you, not on luck, not on approval, not on a perfect plan. It's waiting on your consistency, your resilience, your daily decision to keep showing up. The truth is your potential is greater than you realize. Your strength runs deeper than you've tested. And the world, it needs your story. So take the final step. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Push through the fear, stand up from the fall, tune out the noise, silence the doubt, and move. Because the greatest chapters of your life haven't been written yet. You're still in the middle of the fight. You're still in the making. And when you look back one day, it won't be the applause you remember. It'll be the moment you almost quit, but didn't. Keep going. You've come too far to only come this far. The world is watching now. Make it worth the watch.